Let's see. Making sure that I have the right internet. Yeah, okay. Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. Come on in, come on in. Say hello, say hello. Let's get the glasses so I can so I can see. I can see. Okay. All righty. Hello, Miss Giwa. How are you doing? Hello, Magbajulowa. I'm telling you, the difference like your glasses makes when you can't see. I can see. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Hello, Mayor 381 in Katola. Summy Groovy. Nevi Boo. Happy Thursday to you, Miss Giwa. Hello, Mr. Oladumiji. How are you doing? Hi, Facebook. Hi, YouTube. I'm still waiting for, how they usually would add additional platforms that you can stream to. So hopefully one of these days they will come up with being able to add TikTok. Oh, my nails are hard. Just look at like, yeah. I've been trying to make a nail appointment since like 200 years ago. Good evening, Miss Nkatala. How are you doing? Hi, everybody. How is it? Y'all, is it just me or was this week like super fast? Because it was just like yesterday was Monday. I mean, I was just in court yesterday. I was like, okay. And here we are. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good week so far. Tomorrow is Friday. And if you're just joining us for the first time, this is Attorney Abisola Adebola Olale, immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. Hello, Egbelicious Egbe. What's going on? Hello. I love that username. See, I love unique stuff. I think I broke my nail, but I'll deal with that later. I love things that are very unique and, things that stand out. Anyway, I hope everyone's week has gone good so far. It's going to be Friday tomorrow. I'm an immigration lawyer based in Alabama. I represent immigration clients in all 50 states. So if you've got an immigration case, if it's a case type, you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything. I know you missed, for the most part, too. So I'm just starting. I had a late start this evening, so I had to. So I have, y'all don't know, I have two kids. My youngest would but he likes the variety he gets at school lunch. My senior rather take food from home. So he loves omelets. So I was making omelets. Yeah, gotta feed the kid. But anyway, here we are. If we can help you with immigration cases that we include asylum, removal of conditions of residency, citizenship, marriage green card, employment green card, H-1B. We have about 4 H-1B petitions going on. Hopefully I can get 2 out tomorrow. Yo, my staff, the girls that work for me are absolutely amazing. But the only issue is I am someone who has OCD, and I think OCD is a good thing because I have to review everybody's case. So the delay really is the client and me. Because if I give my girls a deadline, I have to have this case, all the forms, everything ready by this date. They are good. Hello, Miss Wonderland. How are you? I actually was talking about you. Obviously, I didn't say your name, but I was talking about you to somebody today. And so you were on my mind throughout today, but, fingers crossed. Marriage green card, H-1B petitions. Hopefully we can get those out tomorrow. Fiancé visa, change of status, extension of status. Those are a few of things that we do at my firm. If you need to, we'll get to the questions later. If you need to contact us, someone was asking me on Tuesday while I was like talking and taking breaks. So I have a cut on my tongue. I was eating neck bone. Neck bone, a turkey neck bone. If you're Niger, you already know, amen. You already know that we eat bones. So boys are like, he's gonna get stuck in your mouth. Nibble. I'm a pro. Don't chicken bone, turkey neck bone. Yeah. In the process of eating that, I literally bit into my tongue and slashed it on the side. So it's still healing. And did I stop eating the meat? Hell no. Nibble. No, we're going to keep eating. So that's part of why it hasn't healed. But hey, listen, wish it wasn't here. But that's so if the person who asked me what they were concerned, but that's what's going on with my mouth. As I'm taking breaks because it's hurt. It hurts. It is really painful. So and they had to give me antibiotics just to make sure it doesn't get infected. But and the doctor was like, well, you can't chew on anything. And I was like, well, no way. It's there. But anyway, let's talk immigration. If you need to contact our office, if you are on YouTube and Facebook, you can see on your screen 334-341-4475. Visit our website at 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. That's but I talk for a living. So imagine, like I was in court yesterday and I was taking breaks and people were like, she's always really, she goes nonstop. What's going on? And I was like, okay, yeah, see. They're like, oh, maybe you should bite your tongue sometimes more. Like it's like, auntie, but anyway, if you need to contact our office, 334-341-4475. You can also send a text to that number and we will respond to your text. You contact us at the same number on WhatsApp. There's still that person on TikTok who is constantly still posting using my photo and posting. I have two other colleagues that also do immigration, practice immigration law. They're having the same issue. A lot of people get scammed when it comes to immigration cases. Please, please, please. I thought it was going to be end of this year, but it's looking more like next year when we be in the DMV area. But please understand, before you make consultations, before you commit to anything, know that you are speaking and communicating with a lawyer's office and know if it's a lawyer that you think you're communicating with. That is very, very important. Okay, let's talk tonight. So you already know the drill. Questions in the comment section, and we'll get to it later on. A contact number, yes, 334-341-4475. If someone can help me put it up on Instagram, I would really appreciate that. If you, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and share our Facebook page. I would really appreciate it as well. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, subscribe to YouTube, follow us on Facebook. If you just put 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 Immigration on all the social media platforms, you'll see this girl. But anyway, alrighty. So what are we talking about tonight? Let's talk immigration. Filing I-751 immediately after your grant of conditional residency. Yes, you heard me right. Filing I-751 immediately after the grant of conditional residency. I always have to, because most of the time I type this thing in, like this, I do it myself. I have people who help me do, like I do. I know every post that goes on my social media because, thank you, Defund Offshore. Just because I need to know. So, but there's some things that I have to put on myself, like my lives. I type myself. So most of the time I don't have my glasses on, and so whenever I'm looking down, I'm trying to proofread at the same time. That okay, English go make sense. But anyway, filing your I-751 immediately after the grant of conditional residency, is that possible? Short answer is yes, but not in every situation. So let's talk about that. When you file a I-751, that is your petition to remove the conditions on your residency. You file that when you have been granted conditional residency. You are granted conditional residency, usually when it comes to marriage-based cases, when you're married to your spouse, citizen, green card, or the spouse is under 2 years at the time that your immigrant visa has been approved, or at the time that you are your adjustment of status has been approved. Meaning they've approved the I-130, they've approved your immigrant visa at the embassy, and at that time, your marriage to the person, your sponsor, your spouse, is under 2 years. What happens in that situation is you will be granted a conditional residency. That means that your initial green card is good for 2 years from the day they approve it. However, in order for you to extend that, this is one error people make. I've had a lot of people who would file the I-90. I-90 is for you to replace your lost green card to renew your 10-year green card. I-90 is not for you to get an initial 10-year green card. Okay? Whenever you're going from a 2-year to a 10-year, you have to file an I-751. I have about 4 cases right now where my clients actually filed I-90s. They got denied. And then he said, okay, you know what? We've done this ourselves. Let's go figure out what's going on. And then they come to us and are like, that wasn't what you were supposed to file. This is the way to go. And now their I-751 is pending. Actually, one of them, we actually got, I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like they may waive interview for them. It's a couple. In their case, they have 2 young kids. So I think it's pretty straightforward. But anyway, so you file an I-751 when you're going from a conditional residency green card to your 10-year green card. Generally, you're required to file that I-751 petition with your spouse. That's the general rule. However, there are situations where you do not have to file. You do not have to wait for the 2-year. You can file 90 days before the 2nd year anniversary. There are situations where you do not have to wait the 2 years to file for your 10-year green card. That's what I mean by saying, can you file an I-751 immediately after the grant of a conditional residency? Short answer, yes, depending on the basis by which you are filing the I-751. So let's talk. If you're filing, you're required to file, general rule is you're required to file an I-751 jointly with your spouse. So basically, the person who was your sponsor, who filed the I-130 for you, you're required to file the I-751 together with that person when you're going from your 2-year green card to your 10-year green card. And in that situation, you cannot file earlier than 90 days before the 2nd year anniversary of your conditional residency. That's the general rule. However, because USCIS also understands, and because Congress that enacted the law understands that people come here from other countries and things change. 2 years is a long time for marriage to change, right? So anything can happen. People get divorced, people get subjected to abuse, things like that. People die, that's the reality of life. And people face hardship. If you are filing your I-751 based on as a self-petition, then in that situation, you're not required to wait for 2 years to file the I-751. Yes, you heard me correctly. You heard me right. Let me say that again. If you are filing, the general rule is you are required to file your 751 petition to remove the conditions of your residency. You're required to file that with your spouse. That's the general rule. However, if you are not filing jointly with your spouse to remove the conditions of your residency, then you do not have to wait the 2 years, because then your option will be a self-petition. If you're filing based on good faith marriage, but the marriage has ended in divorce or it's on the way to divorce, if you're filing based on good faith marriage, but you have been the subject of abuse from the hands of that spouse, if you're filing based on good faith marriage, but your spouse has now passed away, if you're filing, you don't on extreme hardship basis, ethic movement, extreme hardship basis does not require proven good faith. That's the one self-petition ground that does not require good faith. However, it is the most difficult ground to prove, self-petition ground to prove, because it doesn't require good faith. So if you're filing without your spouse and you're filing as a self-petitioner, you do not have to wait for the 2-year period before you can file your I-751. Example, you get married to, Sissy lawyer marries brother lawyer. Listen, just work with me. Sissy lawyer marries brother lawyer, right? Okay, well, everything is going on. You want to do everybody work with everything, all that stuff, right? Okay, marriage is fine. A year goes by, they have a child, but things don't work out, right? In the middle of having a child, or in the midst of having a child, Sissy lawyer files for but that lawyer, and but that lawyer gets his green card. He gets a 2-year green card, because at the time to get him his green card, the marriage is less than 2 years. Now, let's assume he gets his green card, conditional residency card, on, what's today's date? August 25th, 2022. Fast forward to October 25th, 2022. 2 months after becoming a conditional resident. Sissy lawyer decides, you know what? I'm going to read a book on I'm going to book on one in Nigeria. Could handsome guy and all that, and Sissy lawyer decides, you know what? It's one life to live. I need to go explore. Listen, I'm just making this up. Just work with me. Just go with the flow. And then Sissy lawyer decides, you know what, brother lawyer, you have to leave my house. I don't care. I don't want to marry to you again. Let's share custody, be your way, all that kind of good stuff or bad stuff. Now, brother lawyer is looking, okay, he's been told by several people, I need to be married at the time I'm filing for my 10-year green card. Now this person is not filing with me, or wants to divorce me. What's going to happen? In that situation, because, okay, let's say, Sissy lawyer goes ahead, she files for divorce. Sissy lawyer says, brother, Tony will find you. Go down. Would like to live new, and she files for divorce. Now, brother lawyer is by himself. He's now single, no longer married to Sissy lawyer. They have a kid. He's got a conditional residency card status, and that means he's not going to be filing jointly with any spouse. Well, the spouse will get him the 2-year green card. What does he have to still wait till the 2-year mark? Filed 90 days before the 2nd-year anniversary when he got his conditional residency? He does not. Why? Because in this case, he's going to be filing good faith marriage, but ended in divorce. If he's filing as a self-petitioner, exactly. If he's filing as a self-petitioner, he is not required. He is exempt from waiting for the 2 years. So that means that October 2022, their divorce is final. Immediately after the divorce is final, he's only had his conditional residency for 2.5 months. He is eligible to file for his I-751 to remove the conditions of residency, based on the fact that he's going to be filing as a self-petitioner, good faith marriage, but ended in divorce. Another example, same Sissy lawyer and brother lawyer scenario, right? Okay, so Sissy lawyer decides, okay, I don't want to let him go, but I'm going to make his life miserable. Listen, I don't make people's life miserable. I can't even say that with a straight face. Well, whenever I cross-examine officers on the stand when it comes to criminal cases, I'm called a whole lot of names. Now, y'all have to picture this. I'm only 5 feet tall, and with my heels, maybe 5'3", 5'3.5". Okay, and and I'm looking at these big guys, and they're on the stand, and you make them look really, really stupid. And they're like calling you kind of, not to your face, obviously, but in those kind of situations, they're probably saying, she makes life miserable. Someone calls me a bulldog, but that's just work related. But personally, I don't make people's life miserable. But let's assume Sissy lawyer decides she's going to make brother lawyer's life miserable. She's not going to give him a divorce, and she's not going to help him file for his 10-year green card. She just wants to torment him and just toy with him and make him feel some pain and be in control. And they have a kid together. She decides, okay, you're going to be sleeping in the basement of the house. You know what? You've been in any room. And he's wondering, okay, I just got my green card 2 months ago. and it's still, 22 more months before the second year anniversary. Will he be required in that situation? Does he have an option to file his green card, 10-year green card, by himself? Yes, based on the fact that that treatment, that behavior, those events that is being uh, um, um, targeted towards him, that will constitute extreme cruelty from his wife, Sissy lawyer. And that means that he will become eligible to file his 751 as a self-petitioner, good faith marriage, but has been the subject or victim of abuse. In that situation, he does not have to wait 2 years. As soon as he has been subjected to that, even if it's a day after getting his conditional residency card, he becomes eligible to file as a self-petitioner as long as you have your supporting evidence of the good faith, supporting evidence of your abuse. If it's going to be divorce, you have supporting evidence of the divorce. If your divorce is still in process, most of the time the immigration officers will give you an area fee for a lengthy time to allow for your divorce to be over, and then you send your divorce decree in. End of story. That's all she wrote. That's it. So that's when you're able to file a 751 immediately after you have been granted your conditional residency status. All right, people. That's all she wrote. Let's go to questions. Okay. Hello, Miss Ogushola. How are you? Okay. I am an LPR S1991. I'm an LPR. I want to apply for my fiance. What is the process to file for him here in the U.S.? Does he have to go back home to adjust his status? So generally, let me just put a disclaimer out there. Questions, for everyone's, just informative. Any answer given is not advice to your case. It's not specific to your case. That is done over a proper paid consultation. As an LPR, legal permanent resident, you are not eligible to file the fiance K1 visa. I'm sure you already know that. The only question, or the only option would be you getting married to your fiance and then filing the I-130 petition for alien relative for him. However, if he is in the country and he's still on a valid non-immigrant status, then he will become eligible as of today to file to adjust his status because the F2A preference category is current. If he's, however, out of status already, then because you're a legal permanent resident, he is not going to be qualified or classified as an immediate relative. So that means he's not exempt from the overstay penalty of unlawful presence. And based on that, he will not be able to adjust his status in the country. That's how that goes. Okay. Let me see. Let me take this down. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, there we go. All right. I'll come back to Facebook and YouTube. Let me go on Instagram. Okay. Church. Yeah, I can be very, very goofy. Y'all don't even know. What I'm going to do one day is my oldest kid, if he ever appears on my live, y'all need to go check outside that you and I are not stuck back and Jesus has come, rapture has happened, and we're all, those of us left are here. Because that's that kind of situation that would happen. But my 12-year-old, he's finally 12. He couldn't wait to be 12. One day I'm going to bring him and just ask him some questions about what he feels about his mother. Y'all are going to, you're going to have a earful. Because my kids sometimes look at me and just shake their head like, What? So, quick story. TJ, 12-year-old. If you grew up in Nigeria, and especially in, I think the Yoruba culture, that I learned it from my dad. My dad, when he gets really, really serious about something, he would say, Bami Bekini or something, you know, my friend, or Korean, Jari, my friend. So it's something I picked from my dad. So whenever he does something, and he like if he says, I want to. Let's for example, okay, can I have just 15 more minutes before I go to bed? And I go on, my friend, go to bed, my friend. One day this kid is going to tell me, and okay, backstory. I always tell my kids, I'm not their friend, and I'm not their friend. I don't do friendship with kids. I don't do friendship with my kids because you ain't paying rent, you ain't buying food, you ain't buying grocery, you ain't paying bills. I birthed you and have stretch marks still, as long as we've been out to prove it. There's no friendship. No, it's time for you to show me that you're on the path and get your grades, get your college degree, get your postgraduate degree, go to med school, go to law school, engineering, accounting, one of those options that we Nigerian parents choose for them. Then when you start making money, we can be friends at that time. So he came one day and says, well, Mom, you're always saying you're not our friend. But then when I ask you for something and you respond, why do you always say, well, you just leave that alone, my friend? You said I'm not your friend. So why would you say that? Oh, Lord. Yeah. And I'm never short of words. I just didn't even know how to. That kid. Because that kid is just something. But anyway, let's keep going. Samson _ I can get. How long does it take to get an 80 back when returned to USCIS? I hardly have to do that. So I really can't say. Thank you. Yeah, if you're just joining, I have an injury in my tongue. Let me just put it that way. Slick touch _ braids. Good evening. Let's see. Defund offshore worldwide. I appreciate the support. I do not take it for granted. Thank you. Official Mama T14. Can a friend file for VA if that friend has to be you? I know that. Okay, let's just keep going. Can a friend file for VA if her spouse of 1 year refused to file for him? You mean for her? And they live in a different state. One of the requirements for a VAWA petition is you must have shared residency. One good thing about those, earlier this year, USC has expanded that shared residency requirement to also include time that you spent living together prior to getting married. So if your friend and her husband, or he's refusing to file, but they're living in separate states, they must have lived together, shared residency at some point. So if that is missing, then there is no complete VAWA petition. But if they live together at some point, and it's more about him using the status to control her, then she may be eligible to file for VAWA petition, but she wants to consult with an immigration attorney. VAWA is not something you just sit down and say, hey, okay, yes, he's not filing, then that means I'm eligible for VAWA. It's beyond just filing petitions. Just saying. Okay, that's the same question. Temidayo Olanikpekun. I filed I-751 with my spouse, and she ended divorce me without notifying me. And my 751 is still pending since 1 year. What you want to do is to go ahead and notify USCIS. Have you had your interview? If not, notify them, send a copy of your divorce decree and a request that you're asking them to convert your case to a self-petition abuse ground. If you ever had been subjected to, because if someone is going to file for divorce and not let you know, I suspect there were other issues going on in your marriage that you may not want to share with you, understandably so. So if you qualify for both grounds of divorce and abuse, then you want to request that they do that. And the if you're able to get your 751 approved based on abuse and your spouse is a citizen, the one good thing about that is you still stand to be eligible to file your citizenship after 3 years as a legal permanent resident. So for the most part, people waiting on 751s will already qualify. If your 751 is granted on divorce grant, however, you would have to wait 5 years as a legal permanent resident before you can file for your citizenship. So that's why if you have any kind of evidence that will rise to the level of extreme cruelty, then you want to explore that first, because that gets you to citizenship faster than divorce ground or extreme hardship ground. Hello, Mr. Collins. I enjoyed your. Yeah, we had a consultation today, but I have to tell you, that's why I tell people I just put lipstick on myself. I tell people you have to do more than half an hour, because it goes pretty fast. You have to agree with me on that, right? It goes pretty fast. And listen, I talk for a living. Like, I talk for a living. Non-stop. I talk and I eat. Those are two things I know how to do really well. But that was a mouthful, but was much needed. Yeah, but I enjoyed meeting with you as well, Mr. Collins. Okay, let's see. What's the field office that adjudicates I-45 if you live in New York City? New York City is, Mr. Elijah, that's a big city. They have more than one. So I can tell you, I don't know where you live, but, they will send you. Thank you. Happy belated birthday. Thank you. I turned 44 last Sunday. I remember when my mother turned 40, I was like, she's old. Here I am. Here I am. But I mean, I don't feel 44. I don't at all. I don't. I think I'm wiser. I think we get older and you would get wiser. Yoruba culture, for sure. Looking forward, epic movement. Absolutely. Miss Warner, like your daddy used to address you like, yeah, my dad was like, whoa, couldn't be by my friend. And I say it so many times, and this kid is going to call me out and say, well, you said we're not friends, so why do you say my friend? How do you begin to even explain to the kid that I'm not calling you my friend in the sense of my friend, like you're not my friend, but listen, I just left it alone. American kids will ask you crazy questions. Those kind of questions we never had the audacity to ask our parents. They'll ask you anything. Like, they don't care. Okay. Alana Sky 52 is the 785. I'm assuming you mean 765 and I-131 issued at the same time. If you filed them at the same time, they're still issuing combo cards. We got 2 cards today. We filed one in February, and the other was filed in May. Now, the May one is a miracle, like some others that I got. Listen, I didn't work USCIs. I didn't know what's going on there. But book cards, we filed the 765 and anyway, the whole adjustment of status package. And so there's still, the only time that I'm seeing that I'm getting EADs that are separate that would have not valid for reentry or those cases where we filed separately. So for those we filed at the same time, I'm still getting combo cards in my firm. Ryan Words was asked to send in my medical by USCI. Does that mean that they will waive my interview? That's possible. I don't know because I don't know about your case. Louis_pet. I received a 2-year extension after submitting my I-751. What is the next step in that case? Are we going in for an interview or 10 years in mail? Depends on how good, how solid you made your evidence. There was a policy released 2 months ago that there specifically for I-751, in order to reduce the backlog, they are going to be waiving interviews. So far this year, so far so good. We've gotten 2 cases where interviews were waived. I'm claiming the second one because that's what I was talking about earlier on, that they made a request, so that makes me know that they're going to waive the interview. So increase your chances of getting interview waived by making sure that you have sent in enough supporting evidence. You have no criminal record that's going to be a red flag, and you have enough supporting evidence that will let the right to the level of, that will convince them enough to waive the interview because they have the discretion to do so now. How long does naturalization take if one files after 3 years in marriage with a 10-year green card? Is it true that naturalization take another 2 years? I mean, processing time. It depends on where you live. And listen, I have no doubt that God is working miracles for some of my clients. Because I have a client who lives in New York. New York is like jungle, waiting for your national. We filed his case in April. Yeah. And I already told him, like, we're maybe waiting for an interview notice for the next 1 year. And he says, I already know. They have friends waiting. We got an interview notice that his interview scheduled for next month. We got the notice 2 weeks ago, I want to say. And it just depends on where you live. I give the example of my sister-in-law. And another client we have interview coming up in September as well. We filed her case end of April. Just to give you an idea, and we got the notification 3 weeks ago. And my sister-in-law last year became a citizen. USC has received her package June 10, 2021, and she was sworn in as a citizen on August 10, 2021. From beginning till the day, from when they received to when she became a citizen was exactly 2 months. It just depends on the field office. Oh, so the return date, it was undeliverable to you, so the post office returned it to them. Yeah, I don't know how long that's gonna take. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 09. I used to have this guy who had a serious crush on me when I was in college, university. I'm not gonna say his first name. But listen, it was fun. I was didn't tell my kids. I was wild. Didn't tell my parents either. Because I would go to, like, my older brother who lives in Massachusetts. He was one of the, college universities had all these clubs, social clubs, and they would have parties from time to time. They would charge my laptop. And my brother was the chief of one of the clubs. Anyway, I was just let's have fun. That's what college was about. And I will literally go to a party on Friday, sometimes Thursday night. Most of the time, Friday, Saturday, then go to church on Sunday. But until one day that I partied Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I couldn't even go to church because I was just tired. Now, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I cannot, like I do with migraines. So that's one reason why I don't drink. My system just cannot handle alcohol. But I don't even need to drink because I'm white, like I'm hyper. I don't drink coffee either. Because if I drink caffeine each day, I literally will be bouncing off the wall. Like, for instance, my passion drives me a lot. Doing immigration gives me a lot of energy and a lot of drive, a lot of adrenaline rush every single day. Like, I can function on 3 hours of sleep. Working, I still have, like I said, I have 4 H-1B petitions I need to send out. I'm down 2, don't review. And I know that I may be up to like 2 a.m. today, probably up by 6 again. it drives me. So I never drink and smoke, but went to party, but not was out. And then I had a law of torts test on that Monday, and I have never failed an exam ever test or exam in my life until that time. And I saw my test score. I'm going to and listen, I went to University of Illinois, but even though my mother was in Lagos, that woman, I was afraid of that woman miles away. And I was like, what about which face is off me? Like, hey, Lord, carry over, long magic carry me. But when I tell you people that God has been looking out for me, even when in my foolishness, because I got my test result, there was no way around it. It was not even a C because I did not study. Let's call it spade a spade. But as God would have it, my lecturer lost my test paper. I'm not kidding you. He lost my test paper. And when he was not doing the final grade, Samuel, he used to come at my lesson. Samuel, oh, I learned it. Come on. Samuel, the paper, well, she test. And I'm like, well, I think I did. Test and show. I was never happier in my entire life to repeat a test, just to sit down and take a test again. So when I tell God, I was looking out for me because I was like, how do I tell my mother that, I want to end that whole law school, only carry over kid. Anyway, I had to do that law of torts test again, and I finally made it B. I tell you people, until I graduated from Illinois, I didn't go to any parties anymore. Didn't go to no party. No. No. I know. I mean, God respect that on me. No. But 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, that's where I started from, the crush. If your file VAW doesn't affect your partner in any way or give them bad records, no. VAW is confidential. You carry on with life with your partner as normal. They're not going to be arrested based on information that they get from you. Now, if they're arrested or do something on their own, that is completely different. That's on them. But as far as using information from you, from your VAW case against your spouse, no. If someone does change of name on birth certificate, does he have to change it on his Social Security card? I usually would advise to do that. The 30 minutes was too fast. Next time you won't greet me at all. 30 minutes goes really fast. And I enjoy it. I always look forward to meeting potential clients. I just enjoy meeting other immigrants. We have very, very similar stories. Our journey is our destination is the same. The journey is just different. So to hear other people's journeys, always like, you know what? Hey, I understand. I can relate. Or, hey, that was, I didn't see. It's always interesting. So I know the time is really very, very short. Okay. All righty. Let's see. Thank you, Paul. Justice at day 70. Can I DM you about some case? You can DM me, but I won't give you any answers outside the normal proper consultation. You will have to pay for consultation. There's no exception. My sister-in-law paid for consultation. Don't be judging now. Y'all hold your judgment to yourself. But my sister-in-law paid for consultation. If family cannot support you, I can expect other people to. But if family pays for consultation, there is no exception for anybody else. Listen. There's no other person like me. I'm sure God made you and he decided, no, we can't have two of her on the earth. It would be an explosion. I have a big heart. People who know me, I have a big heart. Like, I'm the kind of person that when I'm not feeling too good, like something's bothering me, I look for someone to bless. The downside to having a big heart is I'm Leo, that's my, for all that is that's a sign, my birth sign. But I'm extremely emotional. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I don't have a medium. You know, if I like you or I don't. I don't know how to pretend. Well, my mom used to have a big deal with me growing up. Because, you know, in Nigeria, you can't get on your mom what's going on. And to have a child like me growing up, and now I understand my mom's issue. Because then I was like, what's wrong with this woman? But now I get it. You have a child who's so expressive. Like that was like TJ. So that's why I can't get mad at the kid most of the time. I just say something, I just say it. And that's not Nigerian style. You cooking everything to body. But hey, happy to body out my soul. My mom was like, wow. So, and I grew up as 44 years now, I'm still the same. So with a big heart, I can do a 180 like that. Like you might could tiger a lion, like until you kill in. Yes. Anyway. You're welcome. This is why I do. Epic says he thought a lot of people thought that they have to wait 2 years, regardless of whether you're self-petitioning or I had a guy who has been extremely abused by his spouse. They have 2 kids together. He literally has to have permission to cook the food he wants. It's bad. And he's 1 year into his conditional residency. So a friend, I talked about this to a friend, and the friend says, or talked about something, and the friend hinted, and he goes, I think I know someone who may need your help. Had a consultation. Long story short, we have his case ready to go because he really thought he had to deal with that a whole year again. And when I tell you a grown man is crying to know that he can be free, that's the joy of what I do. I wish I could tell you that every case ends in an approval. No, that's the reality of it's just the reality of immigration practice. Every city, I do 3 areas of practice: immigration, family law, and criminal defense. All 3 areas, there's a whole lot of times that it's just not the way we want it to be. That's why for me, every single EAD I get, a travel permit to just go visit your family, or being able to waive your interview, everyone's case is a celebration because it to what a green card means to one person may not mean to another person. What an EAD is, EAD may not be a big deal to one person, and to another it may be life altering. So, just to know that people know they have options. Bitati what I always say, Bitati what what people watch you know, and I can speak from West Africans because I know West Africans, especially Nigerians. We have too much ego and pride to want to be on Section 8 or on food stamps. No, 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 no. No, if I was to see what I'm making, food stamp, nothing wrong with food stamp. I'm just saying, because, prima facie helps you to get all that. But I'm saying as a people, that's how we're wired. So we just literally just want that breakthrough. Give us work authorization. I'm a fashion. I'm a fat till Jesus comes back. Because I like to don't. So, just to know that you're making an impact on other people's lives, it's priceless. It's priceless. Yeah, being held hostage as a condition. Exactly, that's what he thought. And I mean, he has his own apartment now. He's putting for. He lives in a state where he doesn't have to get divorced, where he can file for visitation with his children. It's like a changed person, you know. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Odimeji. God bless you. So, Justice, listen to him. Need a consultation. That's how he goes. He already knows. Someone applied for in June and has already gotten it. So let me say this. I believe that they're applying that time thing that they said they're going to do. They're applying it to new cases, which is kind of like halting and delaying older cases. But just hang in there. If you're still waiting a year, waiting 6 months, hang in there. I know that Ojulo Pressy, everyone's story will end in praise. Just have to keep believing that God has destined for you. It shall. it shall become real. It shall come to pass. Bible says none iota of his word will pass by without it being accomplished. If he has spoken it, it must be. But like I think it was yesterday, I tried to just put out a post to encourage people each morning. The first step is you believing and trusting that it will be for you. Because if you have a defeated mindset, everything else cannot fall in place. But even when you have a mindset that hopes against hope, Bible says Abraham hoped against hope. When you have that mindset, no matter how difficult it is to keep hoping against hope, everything that man has said it will be, you just can't see a way in your human mind. But when you hope against hope, it is saying, I don't see how this is going to happen, but I know God has a way and it surely must happen for me. But you've got to believe. Listen, I just sincerely believe that with all my heart. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gill. I keep going. Is it possible to change your J1 to F1 and still remain US even if you don't have a work permit? First question is, are you subjected to your 2-year residency rule requirement? If you're not, what school are you going? Unilari, Mr. 001. So, Unilari, no what? No law. Okay, I have to get off. Favor. Yes, Ms. Gill. A favor would take you places. When I tell you God will show you favor, I always tell my clients, so one of the people who we had his 751 approved without an interview, he still texts me and he goes, I wake up each day and I feel like I'm dreaming. And I told him, me too. Because I tried to make a good case but I remember when he said one thing. He said, you told me that the only thing you require from me is not to speak negatively about the case. And when when he called me, he started saying, hey, I shut you down. I tell you, see, I cannot help you if you don't believe that it's possible to get the outcome you want. You don't have to believe and tell me, but please don't call me and say, I don't see a way, or this is this, because that's what he started to do. And I told him, hey, Mr. I, his first last name starts with I. No, his first name. I said, do me a favor. If I'm not discounting what you, and I know you're nervous, you're scared, you're taking your people back home, but I need you to believe that you're going to get that which your heart desires. I know it looks like it's impossible. It's this was, I'll say this, he would say, but they was thinking, you cannot hope and then cut your hope down in the same sentence. And so you've got to believe that it's possible. Even though it doesn't make sense to you, you don't see a way, you've got to believe that favor will show up for you. And that's the whole point of grace. Grace, God's unmerited favor. And when he decides that he's going to favor you in spite of. Let me tell you guys something. I have a case that I was on that there's no reason why that case should have been approved based on some evidence that should have been questioned. That's all I'm saying. But that case was approved. If I've never been convinced beyond anything about favor, that particular incident for that woman was where I knew, like, there's nothing like God's favor. It's nothing like God's favor. All right, one more question and I gotta go because I can be here all day. I can be here all day. Antonio's almost a deaconess. No, I can never be a pastor's wife. Don't get it twisted. I can never be a pastor's wife because I cuss a whole lot. I'm professional, but I cuss a whole lot. I'm working on it, but then Jesus is gonna come back before I get delivered from it. No, I cannot be a pastor's wife because no. Michael might cuss everybody in church. Amen. Absolutely. In spite of, I tell you, in spite of, if you come to my office, I'm going to do an office tour one day for you guys. Everywhere in my office that you come into, my own office, my waiting area, the conference room, even in the bathroom, there's there's an inspirational quote for everyone. Everywhere you go in my space, there's an inspirational quote. If you walk into my office, as soon as you walk into my office, the very first thing you see is when life gets too hard. Most people know that quote. When life gets too hard, when it gets too hard to stand or something, then kneel. When life becomes, y'all know what I'm talking about. But that's the first thing you see when you come into my office. And then on your way out of my office, there is a banner over my door, and he says, "Amazing Grace." And then on there it says, "Of God, Amazing Grace of God." Because I want you to leave and know that the last thing you see when you come to consult with me, well, in person, is that God's grace is over you. And it may look gloomy and all that, but his grace will speak. And when his grace speaks, there's nothing anybody can do about that. Thank you. All right, people. So, yes, I exceeded the time because I still have to go go finish this work. But if we can help you with immigration case, please contact our office. Number is 334-341-4475. If you are doing a self-petition I-751 to remove the conditions of your residency, you are able to file before the 2-year mark. If you waited the 2-year mark and things you filed with your spouse shortly and things have changed before you have your interview, you are able to still request that they convert your case from a joint petition to a self petition based on divorce, abuse, extreme hardship for all 3 grounds or 2 of the grounds, whatever grounds you qualify for, you're able to do that. So I'll see you guys. Okay, so today's Thursday, so I'll see you guys next week. Have a good weekend, everybody.